What sense of humor? When was the last time anyone saw Harry laugh? He always looks like a bulldog chewing a wasp. All Harry's known for now is whinging and crying, "Poor me." And yes, in this book, to be published in January, for which he's getting £36.8 million in a 3-book deal, there's lots of that. He apparently wants us to know he's been through a lot. OMG, we know. He's told us every cough and spit of what he's been through and we're bored witless by it. Why would we pay £28, the book price, to have all that self-pitying tosh regurgitated? The gist of the book is that Harry feels, being the spare, he wasn't valued and it was some terrible burden to bear because, unlike his brother, he had no defined role. Newsflash: most of us are born without a defined role. We have to carve one out for ourselves. Second, this is one of the richest, most privileged men on the planet, yet he can never see himself as anything other than a victim. It's no one's fault he's the spare. He was born after Will's, so that's his birthright. He was never going to be king and he needs to get over that. But what he forgets is that birthright came with stupendous privileges. Yet still, he prefers to be poor victim Harry. Trouble is, no one's buying that anymore. Not when he lives in a £12 million mansion. Not when his annual salary is a lottery win. Not when he has a wife he loves and 2 beautiful, healthy kids. There has been much speculation as to whether, after the Queen's death, Harry would ditch or tone down his book, that seeing his family at the funeral might have made him think twice about trashing them again. But, no, it hasn't. He is thought to have made some changes, not to spare his family, I'm sure, but to add some tidbits from the funeral and to stop worldwide condemnation from those who would accuse him of appalling crassness in doing it so soon after Her Majesty's passing. But how selfish of him to publish this book at a time his father has just ascended the throne. Charles has waited a lifetime to be king, and now that he is, Harry's Pity Me book could do him huge damage. But remember, just because Harry says something is true, it doesn't mean it actually is. So his father's reputation could be destroyed by something that never happened. And anyone who imagines Harry's supposed love and respect for the Queen would have made him tone down whatever cruel accusations he was about to make in the book should think again. The publishers, Penguin Random House, will insist on lots of tacky, nasty slurs about the royals because they're paying the big bucks and they're not doing that for Harry's dreary uplifting personal journey from trauma to healing. They'll expect dirt and details about the royals, and the funeral. And on Harry's past form, they're likely to get it. Flogging shoes doesn't exactly shout edgy. Bad boy fans have gone mad for Liam Gallagher's new range of Clark's shoes, which sold out in minutes. Oh well, there's something he's good at. Mind you, for a bloke who considers himself edgy and cool and is forever spewing abuse at his much more talented brother Noel to hammer home his bad boy image, selling shoes that look like Cornish pasties feels like a bit of a come down. Starmer should be ashamed. Tom Watson has no place in the Lords. If ever we needed proof that the House of Lords stinks and should be abolished, it's the vile Tom Watson being given a peerage. And what in God's name is Sir Keir Starmer, who's forever banging on about bringing decency back to Parliament, recommending him when 2 years ago the Appointments Commission rejected Watson because of his totally false claims there'd been a Conservative pedophile ring operating in Westminster going back decades. Watson pressured police to investigate innocent politicians and pillars of society falsely accused of some of the most horrific crimes imaginable: child abuse, rape and murder. So what's changed? He is still the same scumbag who used parliamentary privilege to make claims that wrecked the lives and reputations of decent men like Lord Branwell, Lord Britton, and Harvey Procter. He championed Carl Beech, who made these baseless allegations, even though it turned out Beech was the pedophile and a liar and fantasist and is now serving an 18-year stretch. The joke is that at the time, Watson said anyone who dared question his lurid claims was a friend of pedophiles. Well, it turns out he was. Watson, who without a scrap of evidence, destroyed people out of spite and hatred for an opposing political party, should never be let near the Lords. He isn't fit to lick the boots of those he destroyed, yet Starmer reckons this toe rag should be allowed into the upper chamber where he'll be paid £323 a day for just turning up. It's a kick in the teeth for the victims of his vicious claims and their families. Starmer should hang his head in shame for doing this, and we should now be looking very closely at his integrity and his reasons for shoehorning a piece of work like Watson into the Lords. Prince of Wales is right to snub the World Cup. It's a good decision by Prince William not to go to Qatar for the World Cup. His people are saying it's because of a packed diary, but it's clearly because of growing controversy over Qatar's appalling human rights record. Why anyone thought a country where homosexuality is outlawed, where women have to get men's permission to marry and be educated, would be a good place to host the World Cup is beyond me. It's also beyond me why super-rich men like David Beckham and Gary Neville feel the need to accept vast sums of money from this country to either work there or represent it. It's all very well to condemn a country and what it does, but it means nothing if you still go to it, take money from it or hold prestigious sports events there. It's called rank hypocrisy. End of the road for Scoff? Philip Schofield's boxed wine has been ditched from supermarkets after being branded bitter and undrinkable. I know I shouldn't be gleeful at other people's misfortune, but it isn't other people, it's Phil Schofield, who has been shamelessly cashing in on the name he made courtesy of This Morning. Of course, after Qgate his brand was tarnished, and also his £1 million We Buy Any Car. .com contract wasn't renewed. Scoff must be spitting nails, especially as Holly Willoughby seems to have successfully made the transition from TV host to super-rich entrepreneur, but not Schofield. Wonder why? Ruth Jones stepping out with James Corden? Not in this lifetime. Ruth Jones, the genius who, together with James Corden, wrote the brilliant Gavin and Stacey, said this week, "There is no world where me and James would ever be a couple. I'm sure that's true. No woman, especially one as lovely as Ms. Jones, would want a boyfriend who yelled like crazy and humiliated waiters. It's just not her style. Rishi Sunak must stop the channel crossings. We are a laughingstock and we cannot afford it. So far this year 38,000 migrants have crossed the channel, 12,000 of them Albanians, and the last time I looked Albania wasn't at war, so these are illegal economic migrants. These crossings are costing the government £7 million a day, which adds up to £5 billion a year in hotel bills. Moreover, a council in Dover has been forced to tell residents to lock their doors and windows after one migrant sneaked into a terrified resident's home demanding to make a call. Enough now. Rishi Sunak says he has a plan to stop these crossings, so he needs to get on with it. We're sick of being told the problem is being dealt with when it clearly isn't.